I heard a story recently of a man named Viktor Frankl, who was a Jewish psychiatrist, and he was in the concentration camps. And people that were wanting to die would come up to him and talk to him, and he would say, "Don't kill yourself because it won't serve a greater purpose." And he said, if the Nazis kill you, people around the world will hear about the evils that are happening in these concentration camps, and it'll serve a purpose. And I thought that was kind of mind-blowing. And I was doing some reading, and just wanted to ask you what you think these verses have in common, all right? Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I say rejoice. Let your gentleness be evident by all. Don't be anxious about anything. In every situation, by prayer and petition. With thanksgiving, present your requests to God. For I've learned to be content in every situation. For whatever is noble, whatever is honorable, whatever is beautiful, whatever is right, whatever is pure, think on these things, and I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. So what do they have in common? These things were all written in a prison cell by Paul. And if I was in a prison cell and I saw the chains that were on me, I think I'd get pretty hopeless, and I don't know, I'd want to throw in the towel. But how did he write these things? And I think the reason he was able to write these things because he saw a reality that was bigger than the circumstances in front of him. Paul was responsible for the deaths of many Christians, and he was a prominent Jew, in Jewish society. He was a teacher. He was high status, and on his way to Damascus, he had a supernatural encounter with Jesus, who showed him love and mercy, and showed him that he really was the Son of God, that he did die for people's sins. And that day, Paul gave his life to follow Jesus and to spread the news about who Jesus was. And so he gave up everything, and he was beaten for it. He experienced tons of persecution himself, and then ended up in a prison cell. And I think sometimes, do we see a reality that's beyond what is physical or what's circumstantial? And that's a hard thing for us to grasp sometimes. But, who are we? Why are we here? What's the purpose of our lives? And just like Paul, I encountered a love and experienced a mercy that was beyond anything I had ever experienced before. And so I became a child of God. I realized that through Jesus, I could have my sins forgiven, that there is good and evil in the world, and that evil needs to be dealt with. And that Jesus was the way that I could stand before God and be a child of God, not just a servant, but actually be a child. And that it's not just about me, that it's about him. And so I just want to ask you today, what reality are you living into? Are you seeing the chains? Are you seeing the circumstances, that they're hopeless? Or do you see that you are made for a greater purpose?